had a heart of gold. She didn't mistreat nobody.
I mean, I can't even be a grandfather. Can't even walk her down the aisle. She gone. Something is not adding up right here.
We're not gonna stop until we get to the end of it.
Take it to the bottom of it.
We're gonna get to the end of this.
I'm hurt. I'm hurting all the way around.
Hello out there. We made it back. And I'm hoping you can hear me. If you can hear me, please type justice for Khalida in the chat. Justice for Khalila in the chat. It has been a whirlwind, as those of you who were with us, 20 something minutes ago, know that we had a major issue, glitches over here in yeah, okay. Thank you. Sean Mackey, First Twin, Karen, Kiera, Nicole, Renee, Olay, Miss Netta, Marianne Coker, Nicole Driver, Precious G, Valerie, Tamika, Don. Thank you all for letting me know, and everyone else that you can hear me. Please hit that like button on your way in. Very important for the growth of this channel, etc. Thank you, those of you who have come back, because I know tonight, like, there's a lot of people talking about this, and yeah, I wanted to. It was heartbreaking when I heard this story, and then I was getting a lot of messages from our VPL, our VIP VPL. And I was like, scrap the whole Darius Crooks thing, because that's normally what we do tonight around this time. But I was like, scrap that. You know, he'll still be crooking next week, tomorrow, next week, tonight. So we can always cover that. And so tonight we're going to cover the story of Shaquella Robinson and the tragedy that occurred with her while with her own friends, just wanted to do a few housekeeping things before we get deeply into that. If you are not already a part of our VIP community, there are multiple ways to become a part of our VIP community. One of those ways is our VIP text community that is scrolling across your screen below, that lets you know when I'm posting new videos, major announcements for this channel and myself, etc. Also, when there are major glitches and problems on YouTube and I disappear and you see a black screen or everything's frozen, I'm able to communicate with you so that you know, hey, I'm working on it and I'll be back. Not that I've given up from the stress. So that's a way to be in touch. And also you can communicate with me one-on-one through text messages. I get to them as quickly as I can. It does take days and sometimes a week or two, depending on how many messages I'm getting at any given time. But that's a way for us to connect one-on-one. Also, we have our VIP Facebook community where the shenanigans and the purpose-driven life continues. I'm posting over there pretty much every day, all day, throughout the day, in the middle of the night, all of that. I love it because I don't have to really concern myself with the time of day that I'm sending things out, unlike the text community where I have to be mindful of what time it is, where, you know, across the country, really, at any given time. It just allows me, and then I'm sharing like random, just really memes and stories and everything else. And so that's definitely it's cool over there. We're having a great time over there in our Vail's important people community. Those of you who are VIP people in our Facebook community, just let those who are in the chat know that it's the place to be. Also, coming up this Friday, we are launching officially our Patreon channel, which then takes us even deeper with our executive VPO people. that's what I've coined it, executive VPO people. And so over there, we're just gonna really go in and do behind the scenes. I'm gonna share with you guys tomorrow. I think I'm just gonna release the different tiers and what will be offered in each tier. So you'll get to see all of that. I put a lot of thought into it, and that's why it's taking so long. But I know for a fact I wanted you guys to be able to get your money's worth and also feel that there's a difference between that and the other ways that we interact as a community. So you'll get more details on that tomorrow as far as the tiers, but you'll be able to sign up on Friday morning, like as soon as you wake up, or if you're up at midnight, you'll be able to sign up. There'll be content. You can see things. You can do what, you can hang out over there and everything, and then meet us over there Friday night at 11 p.m. where we'll do our first live stream on Patreon, our private live stream, and just celebrate. And then we'll do a call-in show too. So you guys will be able to call in and talk because I don't do that over here on YouTube, but I will be doing it on our Patreon. And then lastly, commercials. We are also launching on this Thursday officially our merch store by popular demand. You guys have been asking for the I didn't do it and the other merch, our other little taglines that have just come across over the past few months of us doing content and building our community, etc. So anyway, you'll be able to go to our merch store and grab whatever you want for yourself, for the holidays, for anyone. So with that, we got all that out the way. Again, thank all of you for coming here. Please make sure in the chat, because of the sensitive nature of what we're covering, please do not, include any of the words like ill with a K or murder. Please do not include any of those words. Also, yes, this is a new background because I know we're going to have people commenting. I'm on the other computer, and so that's why things look a little different. This is not my preferred angle. Well, it is for other things, but just so you know, I'm still in the same place. Just we switched sides for computer purposes. So tonight we're going to discuss what happened to Shaquella Robinson and justice for Quilla, because she's a young lady who was 25 years old. She was described as having, as you saw, like the clip, and because I had the same computers, I don't have all of the bells and whistles and clips and stuff that I was going to originally show you guys on this computer. But just some background: she was 25 years old. She was from Charlotte, North Carolina, and she was described as having a heart of gold by her mom, and she was saying that everyone liked her. She graduated from Winston State University and actually was an entrepreneur. She was a hair braider of kids. She was very popular for braiding hair of kids, like professionally. And also she had opened up her own boutique. So this was a young lady who was about her business. She was a boss. And it seems like from word on the street that could have been maybe some of the issue with those involved with the taking of her life. So she ended up going to Cabo to celebrate a friend's birthday. And so it was a group of them. It was a group of 7 that were supposed to be there. 6 of them went, and then the 7th person met them. And out of when they got there, some of you may have seen, I did see a comment about whether or not I was going to play the video. And no, I do not play those sort of videos, but I do have a screenshot for those who are just unfamiliar at all of the incident that unfortunately took the life of Shaquella. And what you see there is the actual screenshots of a video that is circulating all around social media of one of the ladies, well, for lack of a better word, one of the ladies, I'll just put her by herself. This lady, girl, who was beating on Shaquilla, and to the point that she ended up making it where she broke her neck and severed her spinal cord. And during this, where this video comes from, because some of you may be wondering, well, how do we have the video footage of it or screenshots even? And that's because her friend, and I'm using that term loosely, the people who were with her were video recording the incident. And the guy, oh, you guys can't see me pointing, but the guy, actually, he was in the intro that I put together from this. But he's here on your left. I'm sorry, on your right, on the top circle. That guy is what they were saying was her best friend. And he was filming and saying, well, allegedly, he's the male voice that you hear in the video saying, at least fight back, Quila, at least fight back. And she says, no, I'm not. And so they just continue to film it. And yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess. And so they said that this happened within 24 hours of her arriving to Cabo, she was no longer with us. And her friends ended up returning a day early from the trip. And when they got back home, they told her family and her mom and her dad that she had passed away from alcohol poisoning, that she had overdrank. And it just seems like all the while, based on what I've been seeing so far, that this was all a setup. Like this was planned, like whether they all had an issue or whatever the situation was, they was just like, this is gonna be our moment to get her. And that's why they just all sat back. It doesn't seem like they were surprised. Well, they weren't. You can tell from the video, they weren't surprised by what was happening. She may have been the only person surprised by it. So the other piece of it in the video is that she is completely naked, whereas the other person who was jumping on her was in her pajamas. So my question is, how did she end up getting completely naked? Like, what kind of degrading situation are you putting your supposed friend in that you would film them while they're, naked, even if it was a mutual battle of some sort? But the fact that it was not, and then on top of that, you're filming it, like, in my opinion, whether you thought that this would take her life or not, you wanted to humiliate her by even filming this. And I'm going to get to the comments. I don't have moderators tonight too. It's just a lot going on tonight, y'all. So I'll get to the comments in a minute. I just wanted to go over the story and then we can just chat about it. Cause again, this format is just a little different because of the fact that I'm not on the computer with all of my imagery. But the other piece was, so the friends, when they got home, they told the parents that, she basically was sick and she died of alcohol poisoning. However, the mom was saying that she was getting different versions of the story from everyone who gave her a story. And so that in turn made her say, well, we're going to, investigate this ourselves, etc., and we'll really find out. And so they were able to get the autopsy, and make sure this is the autopsy from the Secretary of Health in Mexico says that her contributing factors for her death was severe spinal cord injury and atlas. I can't see that, y'all. I'm sorry. I can't see it. um, yeah, I can't see it. Now I forgot. But anyway, it was it was her neck and her spinal cord injury that took her out. So some of the stuff that has come out of this due to, you know, this being on social media and it's trending and all of that, is that there are people who are basically doing street justice, so to speak. And so they are coming after all of the people involved. And what they've been able to do is, at the resort where they were, there was a list, a guest register that everyone had to sign in order to get on the property. And so everyone involved signed this. And what they have here, what's floating around on social media, is that uh, everyone signed their signature, etc., but it also has their US phone numbers. And so people on the internet have taken it upon themselves to go and try to figure out, you know, do a check through the phone number, reverse phone number check, figure out where these people live, et cetera, et cetera. And they've been, you know, coming after them. The issue is that in doing that, some of the addresses, or one in particular that they have, was actually not the actual address of anyone involved. It was the previous address of that person. And so the person, an innocent person, is now being harassed by the public because there's confusion. And I think that's what's dangerous with the internet, which is this doxing thing, which has just become rampant. And people are using it to harass people. And most times there are innocent people who are being harassed. So my encouragement to anyone here on this platform is that please don't try to do street justice. If you have real information, take it to the authorities, but please don't go trying to do street justice and finding people on your own, et cetera, and showing up at people's doors. That's dangerous. Also, there was also talk about the best friend. Well, I'm saying just because that was the title this person had prior to. But again, the guy on the right at the top, Khalil is his name, and they were saying that when he returned, it's almost like the guilt has been eating him. There was a alleged story that he went to the parents' house and he was just kind of pacing from the sister, allegedly, saying that he was pacing and that it just looked like it was, tearing him apart or whatever. And then he invited the other two girls over, actually the one to the immediate left and right of Shaquella, and those, they all came and they were basically vouching, saying that there was no fight, etc. Basically, it was just alcohol poisoning. That's when the family was like, we'll find out because we're gonna investigate this and get the autopsy, etc. But supposedly he was a good friend. They hung out, shopped together, and all of that. Well, and y'all know what I'm saying. Like prior to all of this, he acted like a good friend. And I thought about the fact that I travel a lot with my friends. I've been traveling with my friends for decades, like definitely literally 2 decades. And I could not imagine being set up by them and having that happen. And then even if those weren't I mean, the fact that it was her last moments, like what was going through her mind to even have that happening. And no one there loves you enough to protect you and prevent that. There was another guy, Nazir, and again, that footage is on the other computer, but he took to his social media. he was the person whose birthday it was, and he arrived a day later. He said that by the time he arrived, he already she was already um unconscious. Basically, he said that he couldn't get her to respond, but he was under the impression, like they said, that she was just sick. He said that they told him that she was just sick, and he went on and on. He was like, it was a 10-minute live stream, and in it, he said a whole lot of nothing really. But well, I ain't gonna say that. He said to me some things that were contradictory. And so it seems like he may not have had direct involvement because he wasn't there when the incident occurred, based on his flight records, etc. However, it seems like he definitely knew more, and when he got there, probably got the whole rundown of the story. He claimed that he, tried to lay with her and get her to feel better and all of that. And at first he said there was nothing wrong with her, but then he started describing all these injuries on her. She had um, swollen eyes. She had a lump on her head. Her lip was busted open, and all of these things. And but at first he was like, she was totally fine. She just wasn't conscious. Like what? Um, but yeah, so we'll see what happens with that, and maybe we'll revisit this, and I'll be able to play all of that stuff for you guys. But I'm gonna go to the comments because I really came to bond and discuss this with all of you. Like, where's my glasses? Yes. Let's see. I'm gonna go further back. Oh my god, y'all, this is way smaller on this computer. That's why I use my other one. Hold on, let me try to enlarge it over here. There we go. That's better. Why wouldn't she fight back? I just don't understand how empathetic she was when she said no in the video. Well, and it's funny you say that because it crossed my mind too. But what crossed my mind was her mom said literally she was the nicest person. Everyone loved her. Everyone's not violent, and it I think it speaks to that whole fight, flight, or freeze. Like that's the reaction of every human is going to have one of those reactions when placed in a situation, a threatening situation. And there are some people who will just take it like is just violence, even to protect themselves is not necessarily in their nature. And I think seeing that what went down kind of speaks to her mom's what her mom's saying about her being true. um yeah, she didn't deserve what happened to her. um yeah, it's so sad. Let's see. uh Pretty lady went on vacation with friends. They filmed her being beat in a hotel room, naked. Her body was found in the streets of Mexico. Oh, okay. I think you're explaining that. Her body wasn't in the streets of Mexico, though. That's the only thing when it comes to these sort of stories. Like the story starts growing into something else. She was in the I'm trying to Jesus get out my brain because this was a lot getting getting us back on. But basically, her hotel, the resort room, that's where she was. Um, yeah, exactly, Marianne. With friends like that, you don't need enemies because it's exactly what they turned out to be. Yeah, and the other complicated part about this that I didn't touch on is the fact this happened in Mexico. The fact that the Mexican authorities deemed it not to be suspicious death. And so they were able to come home. Those involved were able to come home with no problem. They're back here. And there are no charges pressed in Mexico. The U.S. cannot press charges because this incident did not occur here. Really all they can do is put pressure on the Mexican government to do so. However, another story came out as I was doing my research that there were actually 3 other young adults who passed away that same weekend in Mexico. And excuse me, y'all. One of the one in the middle was a social media influencer. And so there's mystery, around there. Now, they were not at the same resort. They were actually at an Airbnb. The boyfriend of the young lady stated that he was on the phone with her and she was saying that she was sick, and he ended up getting in contact with the Airbnb management to say, could you please go do a well-being check? When they went to do the well-being check, all three of them were found deceased. So I'm not sure, you know, if it was carbon monoxide or something else. But yeah, so and I said all of that because it could be possible, because you got to keep in mind when it comes to, some of these countries where there's tourism is a major part of their economy. Sometimes they don't want to be honest about certain things because they don't want to it to mess up the economy. Basically, people start getting afraid. Oh, you go there and stuff happens to you, even though we know there have been other stories. Literally one happened, I want to say a week or two after I left. Where did I go? I went to Cancun. And so yeah, I think it could have something to do with that, because obviously with the way that they're describing her injuries and the thing, the autopsy itself, the thing that finally made her unfortunately lose her life, it's obvious that that was not natural causes by any means. And now we not only have the video, but they're talking about it. Well, at least one of the guys is online talking about it. Hey, Chef Fine as Wine. Tia says, in my opinion, that trip was a setup and they felt like that for a long time. Yeah, I mean, it seems that way. And I do vaguely remember when it first hit the news a couple weeks ago, when they said that she died over there, but they were saying alcohol poisoning. And so I don't know, it just seemed eerie and it seemed strange. But I didn't know much about the story. I didn't look any deeper. And then for this to come out, it's like, okay, well, that's why, because that just seemed a little odd. And even her family was saying, basically, she's drank before, like she can handle her liquor, basically. And so it was very odd to them that she would have alcohol poisoning. And then come to find out, she had zero alcohol in her system. So y'all just completely make that up. And this is obvious now. So hopefully, something can be done. I don't know. It's very complicated because of the fact that this happened on foreign soil. Renee S says, yes, I love your random messages on Facebook. Thank you. Yes, that's our VIP Facebook community. Definitely go over there if you want to see more shenanigans without the tech issues. Don Smart, there were a total of 7 that ended up on the trip total. 6 were there during what they did to Shaquella, and one showed up. The guy Nazir showed up the next day. Let's see. I'm just going through the chat, y'all. And then it's kind of reminding me of anything. Yes, Winston Salem State University. Thank you for that. I had a little picture of it too, and I just didn't put it up. Yeah, everything's got me off. There you go. Winston Salem State University. So I didn't know the actual full name. I'm just rambling here, y'all. Sometimes when you're doing all these multiple things, your speech ain't always perfect. It's called being human, y'all. Called being human. I'm only one man. All right, let's get back to the comments. I'm trying, y'all, to navigate all of this. Okay. Patricia Law, we shared the same birthday. Well, yeah, it's so sad. She's so young. 25 is still very, very young. Now that I'm my age, I know 25 was very young. My life was so different. You said he beat her while the other men just watched. There was no man beating her. He recorded. There were only her and another the young lady. Well, the person that I put up on the screen is the person who is seen on the video being violent with her and ultimately causing her life to be taken. Was that transgender woman that was beating her? Not to my knowledge. I don't know for 100%, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to get it back off screen. Get off my screen. Okay, back to the comments. Thank you so much, Tutu, for the super chat. Mexico can do more and should do more, because if Americans stop touring there, they will literally lose major revenue. This is sick and full of holes. Yes. So basically, you're saying the same thing I was saying, just kind of from the other perspective. They could be assuming, let's try to push this under the rug. And you know what happens when some people of certain complexions, things happen to them. It's a lot. They think that they can push it under the rug and nothing will happen. And so it could be they're trying to take the easy route, which is to push it under the rug. They may soon find out from all of this, because it's viral here, which means that it will definitely garner more attention and be a lot a lot harder for them to ignore this and allow these monsters to be able to live in peace. So they're going to get justice one way or another, but hopefully the pressure will be on the Mexican government to do what's right with this, and law enforcement to do what's right with this. And then who knows, I might be in Mexico covering this case, because I'm sure we're going to find out a lot more about the behind the scenes of how we got here. And finding out, hey, how much of this was a plan? How far in advance did you guys come up with this? And I think I saw someone, I don't know, I think I saw comments somewhere where they were saying they probably only had her come so she could pay her part for the resort, and the plan was to attack her. The crazy part is you were attacking her on the first day of the trip. So you were, even if you didn't think that she would be gone after that, you wanted to ruin her trip. You hated her that much that you like, I'm going to ruin her trip. She's going to be in pain and she's going to be all, swollen face and everything else. She ain't going to be able to take no cute pictures and all of that. That's a level of hate that, that she needs to pay for, all of them involved. The whole situation is horrible. Patricia Lawson, I can't do that on YouTube. I mean, I could, but that ain't what we do here on this channel. But you said it; it's on the screen. Do not call her lady. Oh my God, I'm so upset about this crap. Yeah, when I really saw and understood what was happening, because I get a lot of messages about covering things. And to be honest, a lot of stuff, people just giving me names like, you need to look into the John Smith case. And I'm like, I don't know who John Smith is. And that requires me to Google and figure out if it's the right person. Like, y'all need to send me links. You send me a link or something, then I'm able to click and then I can start, figuring it out real quick. But if I have to start from scratch, chances are it's going to take me longer if I ever get to it. But this was one of those stories that it was already trending. So it was coming on my timeline on Instagram last night. So by the time I got this morning to the messages from the many people who were texting me and stuff, I kind of had a basic understanding of what was happening. Paradox True says, I live in Charlotte and my best friend's daughter went to school with them. Wow. So what kind of people were they back then? Resembles Brandy from Basketball Wives. Yeah, I'm only putting this on the screen, but y'all doing the most. Looks like a man to me. Blessings in every area of my life says moving in silence and using discernment is critical in these times. Everyone doesn't want to see you win and happy in life. These people are demons in the flesh. Yeah, and I agree. I don't think it's just these times though. I think it's human nature, and I think probably since the beginning of time, because you can even look back at like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, and those are the ones come off the top of my head where those were people who were closest to them who had something to do with their untimely demise. So in general, it's basically human nature. So yes, you should use your discernment when getting involved with anyone and who you let in your inner circle, especially. Um, oh, you're speaking. Ebony Queen says he said that wasn't him and he wasn't there during the fight. Yeah, I don't know if you're responding to me talking about. So there are two. There's Khalid and there was Nasir. Nasir is the guy whose birthday it was. He said that he arrived the next day and he was not there. That's not who I was talking about being on, um, being heard in the background while it was being filmed saying, why don't you fight her, Keela, or fight back, at least fight back, Keela. Yeah, that's not Nasir. That was the other guy. And I wish I could play his video because that was part of my plan with this to keep us going. Ganir says street justice is due for them. Yeah, but I mean, does street justice help the family heal? Because sometimes you want people to suffer. Street justice sometimes is quick and painless or painful for a few seconds. And sometimes you get the wrong person, which is the problem with this, with what I was just explaining. They had the wrong person in one of those situations. So, and then the Nasir guy says he wasn't even there and he's getting death threats. So maybe he hasn't told, maybe he was updated at the end. But yeah, so I'm gonna try to fast forward through because I see some. It's a little harder to do it all by myself, y'all. Let's see. We're gonna have to have us some backup StreamYard moderators as well, because we're growing a lot, y'all. I just saw a comment that I wanted to pull up and okay, here we go. Nazir did an interview and confirmed he performed CPR on Quila, so he was there. I'm not sure. I wish I could play the video because the video I watched, if you're talking about his IG live, he said the nurse came and tried to do things. He just basically held her and was trying to comfort her and get her to feel better before trying to get her to feel better, but he didn't say that he performed CPR on her. So I don't know if you saw something different than his IG live, because I know there's like other things coming out that he didn't say. So I don't know if you heard that, but that's not what he actually said that he did. Because for one, he thought that what he said was he thought she was kind of okay. Like he was like, come on, man, get yourself together. We got to go ATV riding and all of that and go out to dinner and da da da. And so you wouldn't be saying that to someone who requires CPR. So I don't know where that part came from. Tisha says, I always say the truth is stranger than fiction. Don't think your little friend won't do you over. Right. So true. Will Mexico petition for them to be extradited? Well, right now, that's part of the dilemma is that Mexico hasn't deemed it a crime at this point. And so the thing is, America or Americans are trying to get them to deem it a crime so that then they can be extradited. And I've been hearing people saying how horrible the jails are over there, and so they will deserve it if that is the case. Um, but we'll see how that um, works out. You're talking to someone said he did call her mother a few times from Mexico, telling the lie that she was sick, and then calling back to say EMS was there and that she died. Yeah, there was that's when they were telling that she had alcohol poisoning. But yeah, I want to do this story in a more concise way, and um yeah, it's just a lot of information coming out because it is new. And then what happens is a lot of miscommunication. That's why it takes me so long to do stories, because I like to fully understand and not give misquotes or anything like that. Marianne says, once Mexico does find out what happened, I hope that they do the right thing and have them extradited over there. Yeah, because I'm sure the U.S. probably won't have a problem. Like, take them, take them. Please check out psych videos on this case. Boss moves, tarot, if that's your thing. Compelling short. We're not giving to believe any of what of them are saying publicly. Yeah, I think the only one who has spoken publicly is Nazir, I think. And like I said, his whole Instagram live was all discombobulated and wasn't fully making sense. It was kind of like he was double talking. Um Lisa Diane Hunt says, I know what possessed him to think that they could get away with that. Um Yeah, I mean, I don't know who the him is because it's a bunch of them involved, and it seems like there was the guy who was there at first, and then the people, because the females, since we don't want me to call them ladies or girls, the females seems like they're the ones who were like trying to come up with whatever the alibi or the lie was going to be to try to make it like they had nothing to do with it. I see super chat. Oh, here we go. Thank you, Andrea Edmonds, so much for the super sticker. I really greatly appreciate it. And Miss Deborah 66, thank you so much. I really appreciate you, friend. Okay, we're gonna do a few more comments, and then I'm gonna let you people go. You good people, rather, let you go because we got a lot going on. Part of the reason why my computer was probably over me tonight, my Mac, was because I have been working it like a horse and cracking the whip, trying to get all this stuff set up for y'all with the Patreon and with our merchandise and content that's related to all of that. And so it was tired, and so am I. But I still got work I need to get done, so we're all set up for our last 3 days of this week as we're rolling out all this new stuff for our community. They have the ability to get the U.S. Marshals involved. Okay. I'm not that savvy when it comes to how all of that works. I think the Mexican government still has to make the ultimate decision first. I don't think it's going to be as big of a deal trying to find them per se. Once they say, hey, yes, we're going to press charges. He has plane tickets that confirms he was not there during the fight. Yes, that's the Nasir guy, the one whose birthday it was. He's the one who arrived a day later, which was the day she actually passed away. Once Mexico does find out what happened, I hope. Oh, we read that. I read that. Okay. Oh, okay. Kennedy Mine says he said it on the phone with another blogger. So this Nazir guy is not only on his Instagram live, but he's now talking to bloggers. That's not. When I saw his Instagram live, and I really hate I don't have it to play for y'all. But when I saw it, I was like, what? Why are you talking? Like, you're a part of this case, and you're going to. And what I learned from the Tim Norman trial, and also Darius Crooks when he was in court for that fake order of protection hearing, they will pull out as evidence all of your social media tweets, your videos, your IG lives, all of that stuff. They will pull out and have as a part of evidence. And so him going out and talking this much is not a good thing at all. Not that I'm trying to help and hope any of them get off, but supposedly he had nothing to do with it. Um, his words. So if that's the case, stop talking. Stop talking. But that's interesting. I didn't know that he had done more than just that IG live last whenever it was. I saw it last night. Oh, there we go. Thank you, Matria Anderson. Says, I heard what Vale said and that he played Summer Walker's music while he was trying to help her. Yes. So Nasir, the guy who arrived a day later, whose birthday it actually was, said that when he got there, they said she was sick, et cetera, et cetera. And he said he basically laid up with her and he was trying to make her feel better. And he did admit he was not getting any responses from her whatsoever. But he said, yeah, and I was playing music for her, Summer Walker. And I'm like, what? But that could, although I do have a hard time with his version of the story of seeing her. Now, he claimed when he saw her, she had a busted lip, and he said a blood vessel in one of her eyes was had to explode or whatever. And then he said the nurse is the one that pointed out other things to him. And I'm like, that part, because the first thing I'm gonna ask if I'm in that situation and my friend is injured, I show up and my friend is injured like that, I'm gonna be like, what happened to her? How, like, okay, she's not feeling well, but she can't even communicate with me. And on top of that, I'm watching her face is battered. What happened to her? And he was saying, yeah, and see, I didn't go in there saying, what y'all do to her, this and that, and da da da. And I'm like, you're admitting a level of guilt, like you knew something happened. And then the crazy part was that I'm gonna have to play. We're gonna have to come back maybe in the morning or something. I'm gonna have to play this video for y'all because there's so much to it, and that's what I was gonna really dissect. But the other part was that he was saying, yeah, I was like, he was like, man, and see, I ain't had nothing to do with that. I ain't even get to do nothing. I ain't get to have dinner. I ain't get to go ATV riding. Well, it ain't all about that. But I'm like, that was be the last thing on my mind if my friend was murdered on a trip, like what I didn't get to do. I didn't get to have fun. And so it made me say, he knows more about it. And then he kept repeating, and doing this 2,000 miles away from home and doing this, not doing it at all. Not the fact that they did that to her at all. That wasn't his problem. His problem was, you doing this 2,000 miles away from home where you don't know the laws. Not the fact that they did that to her at all. So to me, that was saying that either he knew it was brewing and that eventually the girl wanted to jump her or whatever, maybe not thinking it was going to happen during that trip. And he gets there and it's like, oh my God, y'all did it. I didn't think y'all was going to do this till we got back home. That it's more to his story. That's why he needs to be quiet. But he's going to be a witness. Watch what I say. Miss Matthews, many are speaking or comparing to the Brittany Greer case, like America may not turn them over unless Mexico releases some American detainees. Oh, interesting. I don't know much about, I don't know anything really about the Brittany Grenier case. But that's interesting, and politics do play a part of this too. I really hate that they even let them come home. They should have held them until they figured it out. But I've seen people get detained for less, way less. Who's the basketball player? Well, it's not Mexico, it's Russia, but the basketball player who's got 10 years or whatever it is for having marijuana in her possession, um, as she was trying to come back to the States, like, ugh, she gets 10 years. They get to come home and act like they didn't know what happened. Tutu says, I hope the villa has cameras on the outside because they can possibly listen to the footage to see if anyone incriminating themselves. Well, to me, I mean, yes, that would be helpful as well. And they might have I don't know. Usually those places have cameras in like the main common spaces from my experience. And not so much in by the rooms and stuff. But what was I gonna say? Oh, but we do have the video, like the video that's circulating. And from what I heard there was like a longer video or something more to it. Like there's more. So to me, that alone, I don't really need you to confess when I hear your damn voice telling her in the background, why don't you fight, Quita? At least fight. Like to me, that's incriminating enough. That shows me that you knew what happened to her while you telling the mama she only had drank too much alcohol poisoning. He didn't even know the time zone for Cabo. He thought they were 2 hours ahead. He was lying on IG. Yeah, it's more to it. It's definitely more to it. I'm not gonna, say that he played a major role, but he definitely knows more than what he's saying. Who is this saying that? Miss Matthews is saying, ever seen the TV show Locked Up Abroad? I have not. I've heard of it, but I don't think I've seen it. But I have seen clips of prisons abroad, like on whatever I was watching documentaries or something. So I know it, some of them look very primitive. So I would pray that would be the experience that they have, especially her, because that's to take it to that level is barbaric. And on top of that, it wasn't self-defense is not an excuse with this situation, because she literally said she wasn't gonna hit you back. Like they're telling her to hit you and she wouldn't hit you. So it's hate. That's all. The person who's accused of going live tomorrow. I don't know what that means. Right. Blessed in every area of my life. The real poison was her friends, the people she was with. Somebody's using the F word loud and proud. I'm deleting your comment. You can't do that, people. Now it made me lose. Okay. Yeah, this is a good question. I am my sister's mirror. I wonder who leaked the video. I've been wondering the same thing. So because obviously the video came from one of the participants. So I'm wondering if when they got back and maybe they thought they got away with it. And criminals do this. Like they say when people, commit crimes, bank robbery, M's and all of that, they tend to have to tell somebody. And so what I can imagine is that they got home, they thought the coast was clear. We said it was alcohol poisoning. We in another country, and it looked like they let us go. So it looked like we good. I need to say, ooh, she got at her and blah, blah, blah. And guess what happened? I think that's what took her, or that's what really took her. But thinking they're gonna kind of get away with it, and somebody put it out. Says that Miss Matthews says they're saying Quila was a Capricorn, usually very cautious sign, which tells us she trusted these people. Yeah. And also, I wasn't paying attention to that piece of it, her sign, but also Capricorns are known to be, good business people. I do pay attention to that stuff. Good business people, and good with money. And she had her hair braiding business for kids' hair, and also had started a boutique. So it speaks to that. She's only 25 years old. So that's pretty cool. And unfortunately, it was cut short from these monsters. Myra Edwards rather says, Vel, I can't wait for you to cover these cases on all 6 of them. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. We will see how this goes. Y'all know I'm mind traveling. I've been to Mexico. Actually, am I going to Mexico? Yeah, I think I'm going to Mexico in February. Miss Matthews, yep, that's the show was wild. Oh yeah, about the Locked Up Abroad show. Okay, so I'm gonna do a couple more. What time? Okay, we had an hour. Yeah, unfortunately, y'all, y'all saw what happened. Y'all know I ain't trying to just leave y'all, but it, things wasn't operating around here properly. So they should have known an autopsy would be done. I don't know. Some of these people are a little slow. Some of these people, they could be thinking maybe they don't do that. Maybe they don't do autopsies over the, overseas. Like, ain't no telling. Because obviously they was to take that to that level. Obviously, there ain't fully functioning brain cells in those people. Thank you so much for that. I guess someone was asking about the Patreon. Yes, our Patreon will be launched on Friday. Well, honestly, I can let y'all know. If you're watching this, you get to know. I'm actually making it goes live on Thursday night at like 10 or 11, depending on where you're located. Because I need to, do some test runs and all of that stuff. So, yeah. But the alerts for y'all will go out the next morning on Friday morning. But so if you want to be nosy and get in there quicker, Thursday night, like 10 or 11, it'll be live. Let's see. All right, y'all. That's all I got for now. I really appreciate all of you for hanging with me. Thank you to everyone who came back. Thank you to my front end moderators. Bear with me because I know I saw Lisa Diane Hunt, Tisha W, Marianne Coker, and hopefully, Precious G, I saw somewhere as well. So thank all of you and anyone I missed. I hope I didn't miss anyone though. Thank you, and we'll touch on this story again when my system is working right and I can do things the way I do it. Y'all know how I do stuff around here. And then also, I'm so excited about our Patreon because it's about to go down. And I'm so excited about our merch, which comes out on Thursday as well. So with that, until next time, I'm gonna send y'all out with the intro that I created for this. Intro that I created for this evening. And with that, take care and be blessed.
She had a heart of gold. She didn't mistreat nobody.
I mean, I can't even be something is not adding up right here.
We're not gonna stop until we get to the end of it.
Take it to the bottom of it.
We're gonna get to the end of this.
I'm hurt. I'm hurting all the way around.